Welcome back to the UnProvoked podcast.
Bro, every time I say, hey guys, she laughs at me. So I'm going to just be like,
Hey guys. Y'all been with us for five episodes?
yeah.
This is episode 5. Y'all been with us for 5 episodes now. So doesn't she sound like that? Hey guys. Do it. Do your intro. Hey guys.
You said welcome back.
Come back. Welcome back to UnProvoked, the podcast where we talk about all things sent to provoke you and how to navigate through those things.
My girl is,
that
just
spirits
like
are
smooth.
high.
Like,
Spirits are high.
yeah, we actually had a really funny time on live with y'all. Y'all are really funny.
We just got off live. We might get back on when we finish shooting, but we don't know yet. But
we just also comment on this video what you feel like you guys want to hear more of, because obviously like we talk about more like our personal situations. We do see like a lot of your comments too, and we're like some of y'all like did things we never did. Like we didn't put somebody out or things, like we weren't strong enough for certain things.
So marry.
Yeah, like we didn't marry certain people. So it's like y'all have way more experience than us. So it's like maybe we can all talk about experiences that you guys might have went through and that we have experienced in our own way.
Or maybe seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this episode is going to be a lot different from last episode. The last episode was pretty emotional. Mm-hmm. I think we are in a different space. I'm in a different space.
I just want
to
read.
Birthday just passed on Monday real fast. Let's wish Kim a happy birthday. My baby's birthday. We had the weekend was weekending.
Right.
Okay? We had a good time for her birthday. Did you enjoy your birthday? I didn't ask you that.
Yeah, I did enjoy my birthday. My birthday this year was like, I felt like very emotional for me, but like emotional in a good way. Cause, I've spoke very openly this year about everything that I faced and like going through a depression and like overcoming it and like dealing with being in between blessings and all those things. I lost a lot of people. I felt like big people that once played a really big part in my life. I won't say a lot, but I just like
pieces got removed off your board, baby, and that's all.
So this year was more so emotional. Like I'm finally dealing with a lot of things that I didn't deal with for a really long time.
Went through your breakthrough.
I did go through my breakthrough. I was saying, like when we were saying, this episode's gonna be different. I wanted to share the message that I did receive because like Shanice was saying, she's in a really different space. I did openly talk about me going to therapy, and I sent it to my therapist because like she has been like my biggest supporter, and she was like, I feel like you guys, you really have a message and you guys can change so many things. Like she has literally been my biggest supporter. So she messaged us and she was like, I'm so proud of you and I love this show. I listened to the whole thing and I want to thank you and your friend for talking about therapy and removing the stigma. You ladies are an inspiration. If you ever wanted a therapist speaker, sign me up. And tell your friend when she was saying she doesn't know what she's feeling, the feeling like a breakthrough is happening. What popped in my head was she is succeeding, and for a lot of us, that's uncomfortable. So embrace the breakthrough and don't allow that ego to sabotage a beautiful thing such as growth. And that was like, that part I read like a million times. Like, don't allow the ego to sabotage growth. And that one was big.
I read it. I'm not gonna lie, I read it a few times. I was like, because you think like, how are certain people gonna receive it?
Right.
So for her to receive it and say, no, y'all are actually you don't know that you are really going through your breakthrough, but you're going through it, and don't be sabotaged by it. And I appreciate that from her, because it was like, that was a hard episode.
Yeah,
for both of us. Like, we didn't know just like today, we don't know where this is going. Bear with us. But last week, we didn't really know where it was going. But I knew for myself, I couldn't come in here and like fake it. It was just heavy. Like last week was heavy. This week is not so heavy, even though like the crazy part for me was that this episode dropped when I lost somebody else.
Yeah.
So it's just like, well, not this episode, last episode with, you know, the grief thing, it dropped on the day that somebody else passed away. So it was just like, what am I going to be super, super sad again? Like, no, I prayed through it. I've been praying a lot. I've been waking up super early, like randomly, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. But when I do wake up like that now, I just start praying immediately. I go to the bathroom. Because usually when you wake up in the middle of the night, you know you got to pee. Go to the bathroom. I just get in my bed and I just pray it out. Instead of jumping on Instagram, scrolling, I pray it out until I go back to sleep.
Yeah. So. And I feel like the ego comment is something that like really stuck with me because we did talk about ego. But we talked about ego in a male perspective, like how men ruin things or like a lot of us ruin things based off of ego. And I feel like we never take the second to look at ourselves like we're ruining our own stuff based off of our own ego. Yeah. Like sometimes I struggle with it too. Like the first episode was like, you know, we were very raw. We had no makeup on. We were very like... And I remember my brother texting me, like, why haven't you posted that you dropped the video? We struggled
with that.
And we struggled with posting this video because it was like we were so like, oh, my God, we have no makeup on. Like,
we in robes. We look like, we look how we felt.
Yeah, like we looked terrible.
We had went out the night before, so we were feeling like a hangover, and we felt like we looked
and we literally, well, that day, it was more so like, all right, we're going to just practice so we already know, like, we can feel comfortable in front of the camera. Our practice, my brother took in like, nah, y'all not practicing. This one's going up. So we struggled with our own ego of like, people are going to see us like this. Like, oh my God.
I think we still struggle through that. I would say up until episode 3, it was more of a, like, if you notice, we switched sides. You know what I'm saying? So it's just been a constant battle within ourselves of like, oh, I don't like the way this looks on camera. I don't like that. Even with the angle of the camera, like everything changes. But the hardest part is putting it out there for y'all, and we get through that. And I think that is the biggest thing for us.
I just feel like the hardest part of this whole thing is we're human, and we're human openly discussing that we're still trying to deal with everything we're going through. Like,
figuring it out.
I still battle with like certain insecurities, and like we had talked about talking about like the whole Instagram thing, and it was more so the thing that came to my head when I was also thinking of it is the insecurity and like weird competition that we go through within our head of like that. So that's why I was like, it made me think of like myself, because like how many times have we battled with our own insecurity and like had this like weird thing with somebody else that didn't need to be there.
That's a real thing though, because you know, like you do battle with insecurities within yourself. For me, still.
Yeah.
And then you create this narrative in your head that's not even real. Yeah. Like I had said about my son's father, at some point I was just like, I talk about my son's father a lot, don't I? That's my best friend though. But I had said, it was a point where I felt like he was ridiculing me and judging me, but I was creating that in my head. Right. He was only trying to help me. So when I did like stop looking at it from that angle and I looked at it from a different perspective and I took his advice, things started to change for me. I was like, damn, you got to stop thinking that everybody out to get you.
Right.
So it do be a constant battle within yourself a lot.
Yeah, like even the last post that everybody went crazy on of like saying how they were with somebody who also just didn't like them. And men went crazy on that too, saying how, and we just want to say like, we're speaking in a sense of like, we are in relationships with men, so we're talking about that. But we need to speak as women. We also can be very toxic too and sit there and tell a man every bad thing he does.
One of the comments was from a guy who was like, damn, she's starting to be mean to me or something like that. Or she's starting to treat me. You seen that? Mm-hmm. He was like, she's starting to treat me different. I'm like, damn, bro, I'm sorry you're going through that, but it's kind of time to, I told him I was sorry you were on the receiving end of it, because women can be the same way. So it's not just us trying to down men or talk down on men or bash them or be victims, but your spouse or your significant other. So if I ever say he or men, it could be a significant other, because women sometimes do the same things. I felt so bad for him. I hope they worked it out. I hope they worked it out if you're watching.
No, but it's just like, it's just so many things, like so many little things, like, and I feel like us going through this, it's like the biggest test of our own growth, because it's like now we're dealing with insecurities in front of y'all, like in front of, and like speaking about it. Like last week was the first time that I ever openly discussed I lost my father due to an addiction. If you followed me on Instagram, I will easily post like rest in peace, like things like that. And even those, like I take them down. So I was very private about it all. To openly speak about it is one of my biggest insecurities, because it has been used against me in the past when people do know that's a weakness. And that's hard. Or insecurities with how you, like, we're human. We have that. And like for people to come to us and like ask for advice and things like that.
We can't believe y'all asking freaking Frank for advice, because we don't even know how we manage it. We walking blind through it, like, right. So at least we be feeling like that. You're always gonna feel like that, but a lot of times we just try to navigate the best way we can. I take everything that she tells me to heart. Like any advice that she gives me, I take to heart. Anything that I give her, she takes to heart. Like we wholeheartedly take each other's advice into consideration. So for it to go from just us two to the outside world asking for advice or posting in the comments like, oh, I feel like feeling open enough to talk to us about certain things, like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Even like how I just said about the text message we received from my therapist, and it's like when she had said, you know, that feeling of like breakthrough, etc. It's like we've had that conversation amongst each other. And I'm sitting there and I'm telling her that, but I feel like sometimes she feels like you're my best friend, you're supposed to tell me that. And because I always told her, like, this part feels uncomfortable, but if it's not uncomfortable, you will never grow from it. Like, growth comes from uncomfort. And I feel like what we were trying to say in the last episode 2 was like, when you're at rock bottom, you figure out who the rock is, and then you just climb up from there. Mm-hmm. And the fact that so many people like received it the way they did was good. We also did like a Q&A, not a Q&A. We wanted to know what kind of topics you wanted to hear.
Yeah, we posted it kind of late, but still we got some with the responses we got. We took into consideration some of them. We can't, like, what was the long distance relationship? I can't really tell you about long distance relationship. That's like an open and closed book for me, because I'm not dating anybody long distance. It's not gonna work.
I need to be in my man's skin.
And she does.
I want to be in your skin. Yep. Breathe the same air as me, baby. Mm-hmm. I can't do long distance relationships. I really can't.
So that's a topic that does not, I mean, we could talk about it, like why, but I personally cannot do it. If you was in my close friend, you would know why, but
you can talk about it. Go ahead.
So today
my girl needs to be
I need to be stimulated often. But today I posted a poll in my close friends about what was it?
How long can you go without sex?
How long can you go without sex? And I mean, when I text you, I said without like using your roles or anything like that. That's what I mean. Because the poll really, these were the 3 options. It was less than a month, 6 months, or as long as I need to. I was shocked at how many girls said as long as I need to. It was like 70-something% of the girls felt like they can go as long. That is absurd to me.
But I was trying to tell her, right? Oh, for me, I will speak for myself.
And for them too, because gotta be.
Sex is a mental thing. Like, I can't just like, oh my God, I just need to have sex, so I'm just gonna go. Like, it's a mental thing. So like, and I was telling her, I'm like, you need to figure out what part of the sex you need.
You know, I'm not going to disagree with that, because the second poll was, is it more about an orgasm, or is it about intimacy or the romance. For me, it's about romance and intimacy. So it's not that I constantly need to have sex all the time, but a rose is not going to do it for me because I like intimacy. I like to be kissed. I like to be touched. So that does nothing for me.
That's the needing of, is that the feeling of needing to be loved?
No.
No?
Mm-mm. I just want to have sex when I want to have sex.
I'm gonna relate.
I want it when I want it. Like, cause
textbook definition.
No, cause like it's like if I'm in a relationship, I don't need to have sex every single day or 2-3 times. I'm not like that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how y'all are saying that y'all are going more than 30 days and y'all okay with that. That's crazy to me.
While in a relationship or not in one?
Period. Period. If you should not be going 30 days in a relationship, y'all might as well break up. Because if you not giving your man none in 30 days, he is most definitely getting it from somewhere else. Ain't no man going 30 days with no cat. Sorry.
Cat or top.
Or top. Period. No man.
Yeah, but.
So I don't think that is like, I'm not like a nympho or nothing like that. But I need to have sex. The fuck? Like,
but that's what I'm saying. There's a deeper meaning behind it.
What is it, therapist Kim? Because this is my therapist. Whenever I say something like this, she got to give me the, no, Shanice. Like, when I texted her today and I told her, she was like, what did you say to me? Why do you, sex is mental.
I said sex is mental.
I said for who? Because mentally I'm losing my mind. I'm losing it. But she said sex was mental. So I think I do agree now that it's mental
sex is mental because, okay, remember when there was a time when I was like, I just feel like I'm disconnected from my body. That's a mental thing. I was going through things mentally. Yeah. The last thing that was on my head was that.
I agree with that.
But it's a mental thing. So it was like I was trying to fulfill my own needs as far as like loving myself, like doing certain things as far as that.
And you unlocked the new door.
Boop, boop.
You unlocked the new door. Period. Inside joke, baby. But yeah, you unlocked the new door. I was wondering if you would get that as fast as you did, and you did. That's why we best friends. She got that as fast as I thought she would. But I agree that sex is mental, but mentally for me, it is, I cannot, okay, maybe I'm wrong, because I was going to say it's mental for me because a rose or a sex toy is not going to do the job for me. Mentally, I need to like hear you talking to me.
Oh my, the talking.
I need to hear you like talking to me, or I need to be touched. Like that doesn't do it all for me all the time. Like, yeah, rose might get you off, or
I just feel like the mental part of it and what you're saying is like the intimacy is the feeling of needing to be loved.
I don't need to be loved.
What the fuck is that then, Shanice?
I need an orgasm. I need a man to do it every now and then because I don't need to have sex often, though. That's what I'm saying. I don't need love. I don't need to be loved by a man.
But that's a part of it.
What? What you mean?
You're saying you don't need to be loved by a man, but you do. If a man doesn't have a certain type of emotions for you.
It could be a girl.
Okay, if they don't have certain type of emotions for you, the shit is going to be cold.
No, don't do that. Don't you do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
It's not going to be cold?
It was cold.
It was so cold.
No, don't do that. My thing is to be satisfied sexually, I have to have a person.
So can you be satisfied sexually if you're not into them?
I've been satisfied sexually if I wasn't like in love with them, yeah. You've never had sex and not been in love with somebody and still got yours off? Like, let's be honest here.
I mean,
yeah, you don't have. That's different. You unlocked new doors. You did. I'm proud of you. But I don't have to be in love. That's why I'm saying it's not a feel to be loved. It's just a feeling of. It's that much better to me.
In love and loved is different.
I don't need to love you enough.
Okay, how about attraction?
Girl, I don't have a type. I don't care what you look like. I don't. Oh, we could talk about that too. I don't have a type. I don't care what you look like.
What you want to talk about?
Having a type. I don't have a type.
What you want to talk about?
The wheelchair now. No, like, but I don't have a type though. So what turns me on is I pay attention to how a man moves.
Ooh, let's talk about that.
That turns me on. I pay attention to how a man moves. Like, I will, if you like try to talk to me now, you have my attention. So now I'm gonna pay attention to how you're moving, and that I don't care what you look like. If you move like you him, and you are him, I don't care what you look like.
Time out on the court. This is as raw as it's gonna get, and so you can see how our conversations really go. Because when we just said wing it, we are winging it
right now. This is how we talk to each other.
This is really.
Luckily, we got a hookah.
If there was a hookah right here, this is really.
This is. I'm about to turn. I'm literally about to shift though, because that's really how I feel. Like if I feel like you're him, you got to show me that you him. That's what I'm attracted to. I'm not attracted to how you look. I don't care. And a lot of people, I always get offended. I don't know if I should say this because we ain't trying to we ain't trying to be what you always say, we're gonna get canceled. I always get offended when certain men post like their type, and it's a certain, because I don't have a type, so it bothers me sometimes, but only with men. But it's not even when it's me. Like if I notice that like certain guys don't date dark skinned girls, that bothers me. I don't know why. It's not my business. It has nothing to do with me.
I have a lot of mixed emotions about this conversation because I have a type.
You do. Finish.
I have a type, but it's not even a physical type. It's a type of like, well, it kind of is a physical type, but it's more so like a type of person. I go after the same type of person. All my men are, I'm big on security and protection.
Very.
I'm big on that, and I'm big on, what else am I big on?
That's her number one thing. Like, not like she doesn't look like, oh, okay, he can knock somebody out, or he's gonna, like, you don't do that, but you attract that. You attract protectors.
Yeah,
I definitely protectors.
I definitely attract protectors. And me and Shanice also spoke about this at one point, and I was like, me and Shanice have spoke about this before, and I never knew until like I really had to sit down and think about it. And I'm like,
so we had therapy together.
We had one of these. And I was basically saying, like, growing up, I didn't have no fear in many things because to us, my dad was a superhero. Mm-hmm. And I mean that in the sense of like, talk about a man that can like kill a man with his bare hands, it would be him. So to me, and it was like my mom feared nothing because as long, and like you couldn't even say something about us in a disrespectful way without him like feeling like he needed to handle it. So to me, I always felt like, I'll never forget, I went on a date with somebody. It was like our first date. And he was like, you know, my daughter never has to open up a door. My daughter never like walks on the side of the opposite, like towards the cars and the sidewalk. Mm-hmm. And saying all these things, and I was like, wow. He's like, what? And I was like, my relationship with my dad, I was very young. So my memory is very slim. But I'm like, all I remember is I was protected. Mm-hmm. Like, I was very protected. So I grew up feeling protection was love. Like,
that's normally how it goes with girls, but continue.
If you will knock somebody out for me, or you don't
love me.
Like, yeah, like,
if you can't protect me, you don't love me.
If you can't protect me, you don't love me.
You can't love me.
And that was like, that is like my own false narrative that I had to break out of. So I was like, even the sidewalk thing.
That was her own false narrative. They're going to chew you up. Like, why you protect? That was your own, you realized that was your own false narrative.
That was my own false narrative. Like, I needed to realize, like, a man has to be more than just protection. Like, even at one point, she asked me, like, what is your deal breaker or something? And I'm like, well, he got to have motion. And there wasn't more to it. It was like, he got to have motion. He had to be a protector. He had to be a protector. There was like not, and now if you were to ask me, like, what is your type? I'd be like, he has to properly communicate. He has to be emotionally available. He has to be hardworking. Like, there's certain people, like we talk about now, like I can go on a date with you and within the first 5 minutes, I can figure out if this will work or not because I need to see your aspirations.
She'd be like, you got 1 foot, you got 2 feet, one toe up. She knows.
I know, like, I genuinely know from the bottom of my heart, like, this is not going to work because, take this for example. We are doing things that are so uncomfortable, but we have such big aspirations for our lives. How can we be with somebody that's not?
Yeah, that's true. I didn't date, but I was like talking to somebody, and I was like, well, "What you want to do?" I was like, "Oh, when I leave this job, I'm gonna be good." Like, that's it. You don't want to do anything else besides you. Like, they had a good job, but it was just like you just want to do this for 20 years and retire, and that's it. You don't.
And there's
see
just certain
anything else
things
for
that
yourself.
it's like there's certain people that it's like at a job and you're at your dream job. Like
Right.
that's a dream. And nobody's saying like 9 to 5, like no corporate jobs. Like being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. But what we're trying to say is just like, how do you want to live? Like there's certain people, and then it's like, and now that's another thing. Like lifestyle comes into play when it comes to.
That's a big thing. We talk about that a lot. About how your lifestyles don't intertwine, and that is a big deal. That's a big deal. Like, but the protection thing is I think most girls go through that, because I went through that too with my dad, but it wasn't protection. My father was provider, so he would. I don't know. I'm not going to get into detail with my father yet. Too soon.
Okay, but then we can talk about that as well. Not talking about her father, but as saying, did you grow up and did you see your parent deal with infidelity and stay because they were with providers?
True.
Or
well, the thing with my father was he had like, you know, my father's pretty honest about his stuff. Like, you know, he dibbled and dabbled into drugs too. So he would come home, pay the bills, and go out and do his ones and twos. And then he'll be gone for a couple of days, and he'll come back, pay the bills. You know, so that's how it was for him. But when I did get of age, which was probably like 11, 12 years old, and he sat me, this is where the difference come in at. You're protect and my provide. And he said, I'm going to make sure that you are able to take these trips and go places so no man can ever tell you, you did this because of me.
right.
You're going to be able to see things in the world because I'm going to make sure that happens. So when a man comes to you, he needs to be able to give you what you can give yourself and more.
And the difference, see, like when we say like the difference, like with me, I had spoke about, I was 18 when he passed away. So I might have been 17 around this time. I was in my first like relationship, and I was spoiled brat growing up. I had everything and anything you can think of. And they used to tell him, like, you're going to create a monster with what you're doing to her. Like, because nobody's going to be able to keep up with spoiling her.
Somebody will.
So then, because me and my dad had a very unhealthy relationship, I did the opposite. I became too hardworking, and I provided everything on my own. So it was like, yes, I was given all these things, but I maintained it now. I still had the same type. I still wanted the nicest things. I just learned how to go get the money for myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I need to prove I don't need him for nothing. Like, I don't need him for nothing. I'm going to do it by myself. So then I started attracting the same type of men. Like, I don't want you for your money. I want you to do it. I just wanted somebody not to feel like because they had money, they can do whatever and leave me. Mm-hmm. So it was easier for me to attract men who needed me so you couldn't leave. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, now that I'm older and I see like the bad things that I was doing, and I'm like, I can see where that's coming from.
And I always took on like a mommy role. Like, I wanted to take care of everybody. I wanted men that needed me. I felt like needed me in some aspect. Yeah. Like, I want a man that needs me to do stuff for him. Like, every time I dated a guy, I always became like the secretary. Like now, like, oh, do this for me, do that for me. As long as they took care of everything, I didn't really, okay, I'll do it.
Right.
I mean, I always worked. Don't get it twisted. Like, I worked. I made my own money. I always came into situations with my own, because that's what my father always taught me. Like, make sure that you could do it for yourself, but make sure you get a man that could do it for you too. Right. So if shit hit the fan, then you good. And I'm glad he did teach me that, because I had a situation like that. Shit hit the fan, I had nothing. He took care of everything. Shit hit the fan, he had nothing. I took care of everything. So I knew how to be in a codependent relationship. Mm-hmm. It was still bad. It was still toxic. But as far as that aspect, like, we were good. Yeah. So I think I do want to know in the comments though, like, how that plays out for other girls, like, who does have their fathers, who've had their fathers in their life, whatever the case may be. Like, some girls even they'll go based off how their mother is. Like if your mother allows, and I'm just going to give a few examples. If your mom was abused or something like that, then you tend to date guys who abuse you. If your mom took care of all the bills all the time, then you grow up to either take care of all the bills or you do the opposite. You want a man.
I mean, I spoke about it in the first episode. Like my mom is a true hustler. Like we saw her ask for nothing and like literally do on her own, where I felt that to be normal. But now it's like, as I'm getting older, it's like, I want a partner. I don't want to take care of everything on my own. Like, I don't want, it's not to say how you said, like, you know, if everything goes bad, if we have the proper, healthy relationship and we can help each other, great. But then there was also, you know, times where I did help. And like, even to this day, it's like, it's not, my credit isn't there because it's like, oh, well, you didn't do this or you didn't do that. But it's like, I did help. But then it was also like you were dragging me down.
Yeah, don't lose yourself. I will say that, though. Like, I definitely lost myself a time or two by being like being the mother role and taking care of everything.
Yeah, because I feel like as
selfish,
women...
though. Period. Women, men, like, be self. I noticed that men are more selfish with their time to get to where they need to be in life. Women will stop what we're doing to make sure men are straight and be their backbone and make sure that they can get to the next level, and then we'll get there when we get there. But let's make sure you straight. Men are not doing that all the time. A lot of men make sure that, like, listen, I don't have time for that.
Because
and they get in grind mode and they go.
Men are raised to be providers. So men don't feel as though they could be in a relationship if they can't provide. Like certain men feel like I can't fully give you 100% of me because I'm not 100% where I need to be. Us women are raised, how we said in our first episode, us women are raised to be wives and mothers. And what does that mean? That means you put your whole life. And if you ever notice, like especially the older generation now are waking up to realize like, I'm 50 years old and I don't know who I am. Trying to find your identity. Like one thing I will say, she is very honest about it, and I really always like thank her because I don't have any kids, and she says it all the time. Like, y'all play that mommy role, like, oh, I have this all under control, all you want, until you lose yourself. Like when you need a break, moms need a break. Like, you know, I can't.
Definitely gonna touch on that, but go ahead.
Like, I always thank her for how honest she is because she says all the time, like, you know, you can't handle everything on your own. And I feel like I would have been the mom to be like, oh, no, I got everything because that's what I was raised seeing. And I just want us to realize, like, as women, if you're not in a relationship, if you are in a relationship, if you're not a mom, if you are a mom, this goes for all. I just feel like don't lose who you are. And if you're not sure of who you are, make sure you find yourself because, you know, I spoke about it in the last episode. Because I didn't know who I was, my mood depended on my relationship and what we were going through. So if me and you are fighting, now I'm mad because I don't have a life of my own. You are my life. Like, I'm depending on you to water me. And I didn't have my own oxygen on my own. That is very unhealthy. And I would have changed jobs for this person. I would have done anything for this person. And then it's like you wake up one day and it's like, who am I really? Who am I? What can I offer? Like, what do I like? Like, what do I do outside of this person?
Like everything you like. Well, like in Coming to America, what is your favorite food? Whatever your favorite food is. What do you like to do? Whatever you like to do. That's how it become a lot of girls. They get let me stop saying a lot of girls. A lot of people get consumed in relationships and you don't have an identity, so you take on that person's identity. And then once you start to wake up and you're like, oh, hold up, I actually don't like this. And you realize, I don't even really like you. Oh God, let's not go back to I don't like you. Let's not go back there. But you realize, like, then we're actually not compatible.
We're not compatible
because it's just
like, are we really together or we're trauma together?
I was infatuated at one point with somebody and I thought it was like all blissful and love and all of that. And then it was like, damn, like I could never see myself with somebody like you.
Remember me? Well, like, oh my God, we're like the same person. That's not good. That's not good, especially if it's all the wrong things. Oh,
Run.
We love to do all the same things. No.
Oh my God. I think, okay, we got to kind of take it back because there's so many points that you just said that I want to touch on. I want to touch on the mother thing, and I want to touch on that because remember when your mother came in and she was like, he's love bombing her. We need to talk about love bombing.
Yes.
Oh, I don't think we should wait for Connie to talk about that. We should wait for Connie to talk, because I'm like, a love bombing. She was like, he's love bombing all these gifts and everything. Like, that's love bomb. I didn't even know there was a name for that.
Oh yeah.
So there's signs that you need to pay attention
gaslighting,
to. It's like, yeah. So there are signs you need to pay attention to for a man that's going to gaslight you, or a man that's going to love bomb you, or a man that's going to take narcissistic behavior with you.
And if I didn't heal from what I was recently in and look at situations, so I would have been head in the garbage can. I would have been head in the garbage can deep, not able to come out.
Yeah. So that's
because when I said this man did his big one in 3 days, he did a big one.
Yeah, he did. I don't know how he's not still around. But keep going. Child, my girl would have had a penthouse by now, acres, something. Rolls Royce, Bentley.
You know how Ari reposted what money bag we buying her?
Child, he definitely was up there. He was of status. So, but it was a lot of love. But it was love bombing. It was love bombing. In 3 days, it was love bombing. But we'll if you want us to discuss more of love bombing and stuff like that, just let us know in the comments. But I think there's a lot of signs that you need to pay attention to. You got to look out for it, because this be the shit that be blinding you. You be thinking that you like them, like, oh my God, he bought me this. Oh my God, he did that for me. You don't like him. You like what he doing for you.
Right.
That is what it be.
But, and if I was that type, like I said, if I didn't go, I said it earlier, if I can tell in the first 5 minutes being with this person, I could instantly tell, like, I told her, I'm like, I just don't like him. Like, I cannot like him.
I told you didn't like him. You tried.
No, I knew I couldn't try.
She did. And I was like, she was like, I mean, I'm not going to say anything. We'll talk about that privately. But it was interesting.
I knew I didn't like him. Like, yeah, this is great, but underneath the surface, like, what can we really talk about? We like the same things. Our lifestyle was the same. Our lifestyles were similar. Mm-hmm. We could easily get along as far as life. We like to do the same things. Other than that, you are an ugly person inside.
Very cocky.
Very arrogant.
Very arrogant. Very loud. But you know what I will say about that? And this is me being completely honest and transparent. That all showed, though.
What?
On that person. That all showed.
Oh, for sure.
Arrogant, very loud, very gordy.
If you tell me, I just made the, I'm like, but why did you have to say that? Like, why do you have
I'm not even going to go there, because there's some things that were said and it was just like unnecessary.
Like, why did you have to say that? Yeah. Ugly. You're ugly inside.
But you know what? You did the work. So if you not did the work, you would have been like,
what makes me scared is like people who don't do the work, and you do come across people like this. Yo, this man told me to quit my job.
I told her to quit. Do it. Because I will say this. We're not gonna bash this person. I will say this. He did come correct as far as what do you like. He asked life goals. It wasn't just like partying all the time. You want to know what you want to do. You know you need 7 streams of income to be wealthy. You know he had shit was together up here. Yeah. He just wasn't like it was too much for her. It was too much. Maybe a younger version of her would have accepted that and been cool with that. Like, whatever. But the way you are now and the work that you've done was just like, it was too much for you.
I told you, like, you asked me, I feel like it was like 6 months ago, maybe even more. No, longer than 6 months. When you were like, what do you want in a guy? And I'm like, motion. And,
it was longer than 6 months.
Yeah. Motion and heavy motion. Mm-hmm. Big motion.
Yeah, big motion. So he definitely had it. Like, he could have. She could have quit her job. She could have did all of that. But, that's just not where you
even
are.
You, like, when we had talked about, like, how you were saying, like, there were certain things that we were talking about that we liked at one point. We do no longer like.
God save me.
Even how she was just saying, like, I liked when people needed me. She no longer likes that.
Don't call me. Don't call me.
She no longer, and like when she be telling me things that I'm like, oh my God, like I'm so
the last person that I let need me, and I'm not gonna say use me because I could still call that person. I'm a person of relationships. I like to keep relationships with everybody, even down to the beauty supply store, to the maintenance. I'm a relationship type of person. Like I love to have good relationships. Mm-hmm. So the person, I always tell her that too. Like I play the long game, even when I'm dating. If I know it's beneficial for me, and not to say that I use people, but if I know it's beneficial for me and I know that this person, like, we could get a lot out of each other, even if we're just friends, I'll play the long game. So the last person that I had that do this for me, do that for me, do this for me, do that for me, and that one time I said no, it dragged on for 4 days. You said no, you could have just did that. It wasn't even that big a deal. All you had to do was this. It wasn't. What happened? Why you couldn't do it? Yo, but they gave zero fucks about it. I could have been dying.
Right.
Hit leg off. They didn't give a fuck. It was you could have did that. It wasn't that far. It wasn't that long. It would have took you 30 minutes. Da-da-da-da. But it was like, bro, I tell you yes.
Every single time. It's that
you
one no.
It's know.
Like, yo, and you can, and I know, you know who I be feeling for this? Like, I will go side on the men with this one. Is like, you can do a million good things. Let you do one bad thing or have one bad day, and you're going to name 99 things that I did wrong.
Yeah.
But absolutely. Not the 1,000 that I've done right. Yep. Like, you're only going to talk about
but
everything I've done.
Women do that a lot.
Women do that a lot. And, like, I try to catch myself. Like,
it smells so good in here.
We talked about therapy earlier. And, like, you know, we have to find healthy ways to communicate. And I feel like we have issues sometimes like, well, you do this. Or you do that. And I'm trying now to articulate myself in the sense of like, when you do that, I feel like this. Mm-hmm. Like,
that's so important.
So important. And I feel like you teach me that too.
I did. Because when you said it, it just triggered the conversation that we had, because I was dating somebody. I don't even think I was dating. I don't know. I might have been dating somebody. She was dating somebody. And they kind of did the same thing. So she was like, my sister too, as a matter of fact. So it was just like, I don't like, oh, you didn't call me, da-da-da-da. And I said, well, you got to look at it from a different perspective. I'm a perspective thinker. So it's just like, you're getting upset. Let's say that your husband or your boyfriend or whoever it is, they're into real estate, right? And fuck that. They play a sport. And you don't speak to them. You're not following what it is that they're doing. You're not following the game or whatever, so you don't know. So they don't answer the phone. All you know is that at 7:30 the game ends every night. And he calls you at 8 o'clock every night.
Routine.
A routine. You know the routine y'all got. So you get upset. It's 8 o'clock, you didn't call. What is this perspective thinking of that is? What if he got injured? What if something happened to a teammate? What if something happened in the arena? You know what I'm saying? I'm a perspective thinker. I like to think of all the what ifs, good or bad, before I go crazy. So I had to tell her, like, but you got to think of it this way. Well, what if this happened? Or what if that happened? Give them a chance, especially when you know what
they're dealing with.
Mm-hmm. You can't always think that they supposed to pick up the phone for you. I do feel like that, but I don't address it to the man. I don't be like, well, I don't give a shit. I don't care if you robbing a bank right now. You're supposed to pick up the phone for me. I have said that a million times to my man.
I will give like my ex credit on that too, because he did like he used to drill it in my head, because I used to like, he wouldn't answer and I would pick up and I would just straight start arguing, and he used to be like, Kim, you don't even ask me if I'm okay. Mm-hmm. God forbid something happens to me, and the last message I'm getting from you is telling me like, go fuck yourself. Like, I'm done with you. I'm done with this, because I didn't answer my phone. Yo, there's been a time, I swear to God, I thought he was doing something. I called his friends. His friend's like, yeah, sis, he here sleeping. Like, here's the address. Come. I woke him up. Now I'm waking him up mad, because I'm like, nah, they lying. Like, I'm going to go there and he going to be fake sleep. Yo, he was really knocked out. And in my head, 35 different scenarios. Like, they had strippers in the house.
That's how women think. Like, I don't know too many men that think like that, but I know a lot, because my sister was the same. I had the same conversation with her. I'm like, you have to think about it from all aspects. Know what you're dealing with when you're dealing with a man of a certain status. That's what I would say. That's the point I'm trying to make. Know what you're dealing with when you're dealing with a man of a certain status. If that man is a very busy man, a man that travels a lot, a man that has motion, he can't pick up the phone 24/7 for you for some bullshit. Babe, oh my God, my nail broke. Oh, babe, this girl just got me. Like, men don't want to hear that shit. They don't. Realistically, they don't. So if you just calling to do a check-in or what you doing, where you at, do that shit after hours. Like I always tell you, if I had an issue with my dude, it's like, all right, it's after work hours. Now what's up? But during those hours that I know is super busy for them or him, I'm not gonna nag. I'm not gonna do that. Like, get your shit done, and I'm gonna get mine off after those work hours. So you have to be a perspective thinker.
Yeah, she definitely, like, if there's anyone who taught me that, it was her. Yeah. Like, between her and, like, healing on my own, because it's what I said earlier. It's like, when I was with my ex, my life was him. Mm-hmm. So I'm in the crib, and
you ain't here?
Hello, I want you underneath me. Yeah. Like, come underneath me.
You not here?
But, you know, and then even now, like, the way I look at things now, it's like, bro, you don't need to call me all day. Like, let me know you straight.
She be like, I feel like talking on the phone. I'm like,
like, yo, let me know you straight and check in. Like, make sure you check in with me.
Yeah,
like,
definitely check in.
Like,
that's what men fail.
I'm going over here. I'm going over there. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. Just so I know you're okay. Especially like when, like we said, dealing with certain men, like, you need to calm my anxiety. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I was having this conversation with my other best friend, and it's like, our lifestyle, because we talked about lifestyle earlier, our lifestyle, a lot of unnormal things are normal. Mm-hmm. So we normalize a lot of things. So it's like, because we're in a life that we see so many toxic things, like cheating like all these nasty things, like we talk to like, and hear their stories. So now we checking things we shouldn't even check. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's so unhealthy, and we wrap our head around so many unhealthy things that, like, why can't we have conversations like this? Like, you know, girl, like, and that's the one thing that, like, Shanice has really taught me, like, yo, don't do that. Like, it might be something completely different. Mm-hmm. And I really had to look at it like that. Like, there was a situation we had, I was going through something, and on surface, I looked terrible. But me and her just had to go out and go get a drink so she can tell me about myself. The Jersey City night.
Oh. Okay. And I'm like, what? Okay, yeah. But I will say, a lot of girls, this is why a lot of guys don't like their girls' friends, because y'all just listen and be like, he did this, he did that, like, and y'all not even sitting there really being honest. Like, girl, what if this is happening with him? What if, like, now, if he has a track record already of being like a liar, a cheater, then I understand that. That's a whole different ball game. But if he is like a stand-up guy and he work and he get to it and he come home and he giving you his time, your friends can't be drilling in your, they fucking up your relationship now. They can't be drilling in your head like, he didn't call. Girl, if I was you out, let's get in the car, let's go ride, let's go look for, Can't do that. You gotta have friends that's like, listen.
Right.
In retrospect, this could be happening. You know what I'm saying?
She also taught me how to be that friend. Like, you taught me how, because, again, in our lifestyle, like, especially bartending and, like, things like that, we're around so much toxicity that, like, our responses be toxic. Like, our responses be so toxic. And it's like, that's not okay. So she used to teach, like, hearing somebody with a different perspective be like, but did you ask if he was okay? Why the fuck would I ask if he's okay? He ignored me all day. But, like, did you ask if he was okay? For a friend to sit you down and really be like, yo, your head is fucked up, that means a lot. Mm-hmm. Like, that is something that's so big. And it's like, she really made, every time I go to bug out, I think about the conversation we had. Like, yo, because have that be the last thing I said, and I'm going to regret it.
Mm-hmm. But I've always had I have more male cousins, too, than I do female cousins. And I've always had more male friends than I do female friends. So I understand, like, my son's father was my friend for 8 years before we got, intimate or whatever, decided to talk. So I've always had more male friends. So I've always understood how men think.
See, and with
rather
me,
than that.
My male friends are king toxics. Like,
I have toxic male friends, but that always makes it always drives me to think differently.
I'm like that's what you did. I'm like, I'm never gonna trust him.
Yeah, no, like I have toxic male friends too, but it was always like I understood when they did come to me because they felt like they couldn't go home and talk to their girl, or they'll come and they'll be like, oh, she don't understand that this is that. I'm out here doing that. Like I had one friend who was just like really going through a lot, going to court and everything, and it was just like, yo, she don't understand. Like she's supposed to be my peace, and I'm coming home and she gonna argue. That's the last thing on my mind, that I want to argue, and I got to worry about if I'm going to jail or not.
Yeah.
So it's just like you got to be careful with the energy that you putting off to your partner. Vice versa, male, female, whatever it is. But your energy, like I told you, energy is transferable. So be careful with the energy you transferring off to your partner, because they thinking they coming home and it's gonna be peaceful, and you come through the door and you on some bullshit already, rah rah, and it's just like you don't even ask nigga how his day was. Like, what's up? Like, you good?
I feel like we all need to be upfront about where our issues are, and I feel like that is 1,000% one of my, like, an issue we
need to be honest with us. You gotta. That's why when people, it sounds like such a cliche when it's like you need to find yourself before you date someone. No, you real. Really do, because then you end up dating somebody that you're not even interested in. You don't really like. Y'all have nothing in common. But that first little 10 minutes of, so like, oh, your favorite color is red? So is mine. Right. Oh, you like pasta? Me too. Let's go on a date. We like each other. No, you don't like this person. Right. You don't.
For sure. Brittany had
shout out to Brittany.
Brittany had told me something like that, because, again, like, same. I feel like when you say, like, all I do is talk about my baby father, it's like, all I do is talk about my ex.
Well, me and my baby father was together from all of our whole 20s, so that's why I have so much to feedback on him. I talk about with my son's father, but go ahead.
I was not with my ex for that long.
I was with my son's father from 21 to...
It was just so much. It was so much, and, like, but that was, like, my first, like, he taught me everything. Like, he truly taught me everything. Mm-hmm. So at one point, how you said, like, when you said your friend was going to court, X, Y, and Z, my ex was, like, getting custody back of his daughter, having to put her to school, trying to work, trying to do this, trying to do that. And he would come home and play this game.
And that was his piece.
And I didn't see it like that. I used to be like, you're outside all day, and you come home and you can't even, like, spend 5 seconds with me. And I would argue with him. And I would, like, make this big deal about it. And Brittany was like, that game might really just be putting peace in his mind when it's so chaotic, and he just needs a second to think. And, like, no, to not think. He just needs a second to not think after, like, going through so much.
Yeah.
And I never saw, and I'm like, ignore it. I ignored everything she said. Like, now my friend is telling me, and I'm still, like, not seeing it. And then retrospect is, like, when, how you said, like, knowing yourself and going, like, finding yourself, it's like, I can look at it now and be like, I was the
probably would have noticed the signs earlier, and then been able to been like, you okay? You want to talk about it?
Right.
You know? So you should really try to, if you're not in a space to openly communicate with somebody, or you're not in a space, you know, if you're in a space that you should or shouldn't be dating, you should kind of just fall back. Like, when I tried to date right after my son's father, like, that was a mistake. I was spiraling. I was outside. I was wilding. Like, I was outside just, now I'm not gonna say I was doing anything, but I was outside having the time of my life. I was going out every other weekend, partying with my girl, staying out 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, like, just doing the most. And then I tried to date after that, and that was, like, the biggest mistake that I could have made. Like, it was unnecessary. But in the time after that, I had to try to find myself. So now I know that I need to scale back and look in the mirror and see what it is I do and don't like. Because I even had a conversation today, and I was just like, do you think it'll ever be, like, the same? Like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know that it would ever get back to where it was, because I'm still dealing with the insecurity of what happened for 7 years.
Right.
So, you know, we got to really take time to figure out who you are.
And that be the thing, too, because it's like, I mean, obviously, everybody tries when you break up. Like, you always have that one, oh, but what if this was different, or what if that was different? So I feel like at one point I did try again after healing, and I no longer did that stuff, like, oh, you're not paying attention to me, or, like, I knew certain things, so I'd be like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? But I still had a very big insecurity that it was too hard. And it's like, who wants to also deal with somebody telling your insecurity all the time?
Yeah.
So it's like, I thought I worked through it, but I didn't. Like, I did, and I feel like a false narrative is like, you have to heal yourself completely, and you have to be this perfect package delivered to somebody, like a man's door. Like, I'm going to be totally healed, and I'm going to be a perfect fit, and I'm going to get dropped off at the perfect man's door. That is not how it happens, because if relationships are your trigger, you might have healed everything possible. And then when you go in that relationship, something is going to trigger you, because you cannot be 100% okay with dealing with somebody else, because now it's two people trying to be one and figure it out together. So there might be something that he does that I didn't even know was a trigger, because I don't deal with that in my day-to-day life. Of course I'm happy because there's nobody triggering me. Of course I feel like I'm healed because I'm not having outside noise come in.
Be living like, whew.
And now it's like, now you go in a relationship like, I was so happy. Now you think this person is your unhappiness, but it's not that they're your unhappiness. It's just...
No, they were my unhappiness.
Well...
You agree.
I'm saying...
You agree.
If you're healed,
yeah,
and like you find something, it's not that they're your unhappiness. These are now new problems that you have to navigate through. Like, these are new situations that you would have never found out if you were by yourself.
Yeah. Do the work. In retrospect, do the work. How much time we got? We at 58? Word? Damn, I was going to touch on one of y'all topics, but save it for next time.
Not for us not thinking that we had didn't have a topic, and
we went in. All right, so we're going to end this off by asking you guys to let us know what y'all want to hear more of. We know that a lot of y'all mess with us and y'all like what we talk about, but we are nothing without you guys. So y'all have to let us know what y'all interested in, a topic. Like, we did get some topics today, so I think we're going to touch on... We started to touch on long distance. No, not long distance.
Long distance, and it somehow turned into sex.
That's what... Damn. We're going to get back to...
My girl's brain is foggy.
It's so foggy. Like, gosh. But we're going to touch on long distance. We're going to touch on family... What is it, family? My memory is terrible.
No, one topic that someone went off with is co-parenting, and why do we praise stepdads but we bash stepmothers? That was a good one.
Okay, that's another one. What else we had?
We had...
This is not all stuff that we're going to talk about next week, but these are some of the topics that we received today.
We had healing from breakups and finding God in the process. We had...
I feel like we kind of just touched on that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say we talked on finding God, but we definitely touched on healing.
We had toxic family members, unhealthy relationship with parents.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So y'all keep them coming. Let us know what y'all want to hear. Let us know on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All across the board to everything. Instagram. What is the Instagram? UnProvoked?
UnProvoked the podcast.
UnProvoked _ the podcast. On TikTok, we are... Yes.
Oh, yes. Our winners will be announced the next episode. So, again, continue to follow, like, subscribe, share, comment. We did say comment what you now look for in a man or women that was given to you from growing up that you never noticed. We love hearing certain people's stories, and like if it's different, like some people might like, I don't know, if you're not a provider or protector, what else can you be?
I don't know.
I don't know, but maybe share yours, and so we
share
learn
if
about
that's
it.
something that if you're on either the receiving end, like some guys you might be dating a mama's boy or a daddy's girl, or just let us know how that goes. If y'all notice, I'm always in the comments. Okay, I live in the comment section everywhere. So I'm paying attention. Yeah, Kim's schedule is a little different from mine, so she's a lot more busy. But I'm paying attention. So I'm in the comments, and if it's something that I see and it's like relatable, we're all three of us, we're here, we're paying attention to it, we're putting it in the group chat, we're discussing it behind closed doors. So we definitely are paying attention to what you guys have to say.
Yeah.
We're out of here.